A perfect spring day for the spring game here at Cal. The blue and gold getting ready to mix it up here in Memorial Stadium. Rich Cellini alongside Glenn Parker. Glenn, we know Sonny Dykes in as the new head coach at Cal. They've gone through the paces in the spring. What's the purpose of the spring game?
Well, establish yourself as an identity, as a coaching staff, put your system into play, and find out which of these players out here can be the identity you want and play in the system you have.
Scoring rules for today. The offense is standard, but the defense can score some points too.
Well, you got to let those guys win some, right? So now you give them ways to score points. But I'll tell you, one I take exception with has got to be the turning the ball over on downs. If you stop someone in fourth down, you should get 4 points for that, not only 2.
Big focus here on campus. Who will be the Bears quarterback? It's a three-way battle right now.
Yeah, Jared Goff is going to be in there, Austin Hinder, Zach Klein. We're going to see all three. It will come down to who the coaches trust, not only to execute, because this is an execution-based offense, but then who they trust to win games. It's one thing to get a lot of yardage. It's another to actually win the ball game.
All right, we will come back with the spring game here at Memorial Stadium. Coming up next on the Pac-12 Networks. Spectacular day here in Berkeley as we get ready for the spring game, and so much excitement around the unveiling of the Sonny Dykes here at Cal. And Sonny is one of 3 new coaches in the Pac-12 Conference. Mark Alfrich, who had been on Chip Kelly's staff at Oregon, goes from offensive coordinator to head coach. And Mike McIntyre, who was just down the road at San Jose State and interviewed for this job here at Cal, is now the new head coach at Colorado. And moments ago, the 3rd member of our broadcast team, Mike Yam, caught up with Cal's new head coach.
Well, Coach, new look obviously for your team and obviously a new beginning for you. Give me a sense of the excitement for you on the field for the spring game.
Well, it's a culmination of 14 good practices and just a chance to come out here and get better. Guys compete against each other in front of a crowd. It's an exciting day. I know our players have been looking forward to it.
I know you're talking about competing. There's a 3-way battle right now for that quarterback spot. What are you looking for specifically from those 3 guys?
Well, I just want to see how they handle the team. I think that's the biggest thing, is who's going to instill confidence from their teammates, who's going to be able to move the football team and make us productive. So I'm anxious to see how those guys perform. We've got some young kids that haven't had a lot of game experience, so it'll be fun to watch them.
Coach, give me a sense. Everyone talks about the Bear Raid offense that you're going to be bringing here. What's the dynamic? What should people expect to see?
Well, we got to learn to execute. I think that's the biggest thing. Got to do a good job of getting the ball into playmakers' hands. That's really what it's all about, and figuring out what guys can do and letting them do it. So we've got some explosive skill kids. We're excited to see how they perform in a game atmosphere, and it's a fun offense.
Coach, obviously an exciting time for you. Good luck today. Enjoy it.
Okay, thanks a lot. Looking forward to it.
Rich?
Thanks, Mike. Well, Bear Raid, I like that. And to break this offense down a little bit more, we go down to our ace offensive lineman and the former All-Star.
Well, thank you. Now, I'll tell you, what we're looking at is this. It's called the spread concept. Now, the spread is not an offense. It's a concept, and here's why. You want to lengthen the defense both vertically and horizontally. And how do you do that? You have go routes, very deep. Horizontal routes, crossing. Go routes. Out routes. What this does is drag the safeties as deep as your routes, and it pulls the backers out to cover ground. Now, when you do that, you allow athletes to run in space. If the ball is delivered on time and to the right spot, you get an athlete running with the ball, and it's a mismatch. Now, you can also run out of this. And when I do this, it's 2x2, because that's going to be the most common look you're going to get from Cal in the coming months. They'll add some others, but this is the one. Now, this backer will have to line up over here for that running back. Puts him in man. Now this gives us the running lanes we need, because we got angles to block back, we can pull linemen, and the running back can get going. But that's not all. They like to run the ball. This is not just chucking the ball all over the field. They're going to get rid of these guys, and they're going to bring in extra offensive linemen or extra running backs, and they're going to go to a full backfield of 3 guys like that. Now they can run either direction. They can have a lead back either direction. They can option out. So this is a spread concept in the fact that they're getting the defense spread vertically and horizontally, but they're going to attack you with the run. They're going to come downhill at you. It's going to be exciting to see once they get all the personnel groups in place. Thanks, Rich.
All right, thanks, Glenn. We're getting ready for a little action here And, you know, Sonny Dykes is excited about the skill players he has. Oftentimes new coaches come in and you hear that they have to recruit a different type of player for their system. You think of Rodriguez down at Arizona. But, you know, Sonny Dykes has been very upbeat about the number of skill players, people who can create in space, that he has here on this Cal roster. We will have officials for our spring game. And Sonny trying to figure out how people, as he told Mike Yam, manage the team. Good look at the talented freshman who enrolled early, Jared Goff from just over the bay. Marin Catholic, number 9, one of the 3 people competing right now for that starting quarterback position. Just a freshman, 185. And no, we've got an interesting start there. They said they were going to kick off, but we'll just have one return person and the kick, and the official's going to see, will they spot this one to get started. Offense coming out in their white uniforms, and the defense in the traditional blues that are the home uniforms here at Cal. And Goff will get the first snaps from the quarterback spot. Sonny Dykes said it's still a dead even competition. Don't read anything into who starts at what position. And on first down, Bears looking to do a little running, and the ball pops out. And the defense is going to get some points on the board first. Kopperich got the carry, and the backs right now for Cal, everybody who's going to carry the ball right now for Cal has yet to have a carry in a collegiate game, and we see a little bit of that right now, Glenn. Maybe some of those jitters of getting into action right here. Now the wrap up and the pop out right there. Well done by Cal's defense. Jalen Jefferson at the linebacker spot came in and swatted it away, but, you know, Glenn had talked about the scoring options in the open. So 4 points for the defense for creating the turnover.
Well, you create the turnover, you get the points. That's why defense gets points for the turnover. That's a huge turn of events. Now you're going to go down, you're going to get your 3. But I'll tell you, Rich, the problem is the mesh point. Guys that haven't been in together, quarterbacks that haven't been with the running backs, and now you get it live, jitters are going. But this is why you have spring ball. It's a chance for guys to get a almost game-like simulation so that you can see where they stand on your depth chart.
And Boehm comes in to man the quarterback spot and hands off to Hodges. And you talk about the mesh point, that one was off again as well. And that's part of it. You know, they want to see how people react to certain situations and how they handle it.
Yeah, a high snap creates a timing problem that creates a mesh point problem, but that's to be expected. That's part of football, part of the growing pains.
So 3 plays, 3 different quarterbacks. Zach Klein rolling out, hoist one down, wide open receiver. Catch made down the sideline, and this is some of the excitement that the Cal fans are hoping for.
Well, what you see is Zach Klein. How about how well he moved and threw while he was on the move? That's what you love to see about a young quarterback. Hey, does everything work great? No. But look at this. Ducks one guy, gets himself out, his eyes are downfield. Now he's throwing on the run, and he delivers a strike. And that's what, when we talk about execution-based offense, putting it on your receiver in the right spot.
And Harris, a nice job of the catch and run on that one. This offense, is this just a passing offense, or does this have a power run aspect to it too, Glenn?
This offense wants to run the ball. And when I went back and I looked at a lot of Louisiana Tech film, a lot of times they set the attitude, particularly in games they were behind, they set the attitude by going to the run. Now, whether they're in 2-by-2 and they run by pulling an offensive lineman in front, or they go to that full backfield with a lead, they're going to come downhill at you.
Looking to go to the air again. Instead, they're going to scramble. And Klein gets some positive yardage on that one. Sonny Dykes also spent that time there at your alma mater down at the University of Arizona as a coordinator. What was your take on him when he was down there in Tucson?
Well, I think first off, the Wildcat fans loved his offense. He brought the Arizona or Air Raid offense in. But more importantly, I got to know him a little more personally and to find out about his demeanor. And he's just got a very cool demeanor. You knew he was going to make a great head coach, and it was no surprise when he got that opportunity at Louisiana Tech. And I think a lot of people in the Pac-12 might be a little nervous that he's back amongst them, but as a head coach this time and being able to recruit against them.
3rd and short. Cal going to Try to get a little bit on the ground right there, and some good coverage, getting some good steady diet of runs right there.
Well, you saw because of the problems early, and when I say that, whether it be a pass protection breakdown or whatnot, you want to get your big guys kind of rolling and into a groove. And again, this is the first time that they've really gone live. And the fact that it's on camera and the fact that you're in the stadium with fans makes it different. It's not the same as a scrimmage when no one's watching. They know they're watching, nerves come into play.
How much percentage-wise can you put it in for as far as intensity goes when, you have to all of a sudden get out there and compete with, the game uniforms on, as you said, on TV, and there's an open receiver and a catch and a touchdown. What a nice comeback for the offense right there.
Well, again, Rich, we talk about being able to throw on the move, and it's so nice that he gets out of the pocket, and mechanics were good. And you watch this is the hardest thing, to turn his shoulders to get his mechanics down. He does that, squares his shoulders so he can get that arm back. He delivers while he's on the move. And again, we talk about, does he put it on stride and give his guy a chance? And that's what he does. Really nice job.
Spiethia hauls it in, so Klein comes in, and the talented freshman from Danville puts together a really nice drive. I think your point about how he escaped the pressure is the best one. Sonny said they wanted to see how they handled things with live action, but he got bounced around a little bit and still managed to make some big plays.
Yeah, the first one where he ducked out, but this one, this touchdown was a designed roll for him. And what I'm most impressed with is that the mechanics were sound, because when you're in spring ball and you tend to get maybe a little looser because you're trying to compete, he kept his mechanics sound, and that's why they got that. That's why they got that touchdown. But that's a good omen for this team if Zach Klein continues to do that type of thing.
So much of that talk comes back to the quarterback spot. How long would you figure, Glenn, it's going to take to figure out who is going to be the guy for this team? I mean, obviously that's got to roll through fall camp, doesn't it?
Well, I don't know if that's true. I know this. There's 3 guys, they like them all. But the trick is, coaches go on trust. And it is not an open competition. Trust is something, that has to be earned. So
sure,
as they move along, one guy starts gaining their trust a little more, because they have to trust they're going to win with this guy. Now, as I said earlier, just being able to put points up is not enough for me to trust you to win games. Because when it gets to those situations where mistakes happen and where bullets are flying and it's not always the look you expected, can you win from it? That's the trust factor, and that's who's going to win this. So I don't know if it goes all the way to fall, Rich.
Austin Hinder will take some steps now at the quarterback spot. Cal going to keep it on the ground, go around the left side. Hodges.
Well, you see right there, now they're picking up this tempo quite a bit, but what you saw there, again, when you go to this, you get angles in the run game. You can make hay, you can get some yards.
Tell me more about tempo. That's become a big part of college football. You think of the Oregon Ducks and how fast they would go at times, and Oregon goes at a really, really fast pace, but then you see a variety of teams who do, a variety of different paces and what that can do to defense.
Well, the reason you use tempo like that,
got a player down. Go ahead, Glenn.
As we find out who he is, but the reason you do this with tempo is to make the defense stay in base, so you know where they're going to be. Because if you're once you get the matchups you want and you get that tempo rolling, they don't have time to do a lot of trickery. They have to stay in base defense, and once you know what that is, now you can call your offense accordingly, and you have the advantage until game stoppage.
While we wait to identify the injured Bear player, let's look at the schedule coming up. Get started with 3 good ones right here at this beautiful Memorial Stadium. Northwestern, the Big Ten, then Portland State, and then Ohio State, the return trip. Cal went to Columbus last year. So those are the first 3 in non-conference, and then you get into Pac-12 play. Big game always at Oregon. Cougars at home, down south to UCLA, and what's going to make everybody happy who loves Cal, the old Blues, and Stanford is that November 23rd at Stanford, the big game is back to being the last game of the season for the Cal Bears. And that's important. And, when you bring in 2 new teams, as Barton was the injured Bear being helped off, you bring in new teams, things have to change, and some schedule rotation, but that moving that big game the earlier part of the season was not a big hit, and so everybody who wears blue and gold feeling that that's back in its rightful spot in late November.
I tell you what struck me about looking at that schedule was not just the fact that non-conference, they have a couple of Big Ten schools that are very good, but there is no breathing room. There is nowhere to rest down the stretch. They are all good teams, and you look and you say, wow, it is a tough slate ahead for the Cal Bears.
Coppridge will be caught in the backfield. Andre Coleman, good play for the defense. But how tough is it for these players, especially juniors and seniors who recruited by other people, played under an entirely different coaching staff, to have a whole new set come in?
Well, I think it's tough on the guys that took for granted their positions. Most guys fight hard and they'll answer the bell and they're going to buy in. It's tough on the guys that maybe aren't sure of themselves. And coaches don't want those guys anyways. So they'll figure it out. The guys who immediately buy in, the guys who immediately think, I don't know everything and this is a new way to do it, I'm going to do it this way, those guys have no problems whatsoever.
That's a good point. Point's well made. And, for as long as you played in the NFL, and you played for a variety of different teams, Giants, Chiefs, obviously those great years with the Bills. I mean, you obviously went through that a number of times.
Yeah, you're going to have a new coach. You're going to have some new folks that come around, and you say to yourself, I'll be all right, because I'm going to do what he asked me to do. And that's how you survive.
Defense gets a stop. And we'll have a little punt return, and the officials will mark that down at the 22. And our Cal Spring game score during this timeout is the offense up by 1.
9:48 to go, third quarter. Another low snap. Zach Maynard managed to hand it off to Brendan Bigelow. Wow, what a run, and he's still up. And he can fly. They're not going to get him. Brendan Bigelow, touchdown, Cal, 81 yards.
We were warned of Bigelow's speed. Right there was witnessed. Just a double spin move. You wonder why you do all these running back drills at home. Put your hand on the ground, do whirly-derby number 2, and you're off to the races.
One of the highlights of the heartbreaking 35-28 loss at Ohio State. Bigelow, a dynamic player for the Bears, not participating today on the field as Goff is in at quarterback and throws a strike, but he is down with Mike Yam.
All right, Rich, as you mentioned, Bigelow not playing, but he's standing with me right now on the sidelines. We were watching that play against Ohio State. A lot of people ask you about that.
Yeah, they do. Whenever it gets old. So, yeah.
Now, I know you're dealing with a knee injury right now. How's the rehab going for you?
It's going great. I'm just, taking it one day at a time. And, going in every day, making sure, I get the best treatment possible. So I'm just, taking it one day at a time.
Now, how much of an impact do you think you can be this season? Obviously, Anderson, Cifelli, they're not going to be in this lineup. Last year, you were one of the more explosive guys when you got those opportunities. So what's your expectation level?
Just to play with my guys, man. I got a lot of running backs behind me. And I'm just going to go out there and play with these guys. I think I can be very, very effective, for the team. And I'm just going to go out there and play.
How is it playing for Sonny Dykes? What's the difference this season and the feel around the program?
The offense. The offense is a lot like my high school. I had kind of like the similar offense style. So it's kind of like that, and I'm just excited to be able to be part of that.
There's a battle right now, three-way quarterback competition. You obviously are going to be coming out of the backfield. How is it playing out in your mind?
We got a lot of quarterbacks that can actually throw the ball and run. So I think they all should play.
You know that's not going to happen, though.
Yeah,
Only one of these guys is going to be under center, but we are, of course, are looking forward to you getting healthy and getting back on the field. So good luck in the rehab.
Thank you.
All right, Rich.
All right, thank you, Mike. You know what? He could be a political science major. That was a very good answer. I mean, that was well done. I think they should all play. That's a good teammate. It's like, as long as they're getting me the ball, I'm fine with it. Hodge is getting a lot of carries in this spring game. Pass tip, Goff in at the quarterback spot right now, right off the hands of Jackson Booza. And what an opportunity this is right now for the kids who come in early. Jared Goff, if he doesn't enter Cal early, he's still in the spring semester of his senior year of high school. but on campus, taking classes, participating in spring football, and trying to win himself a starting quarterback spot for the Cal Bears. Glenn, how big of an advantage you think it is to come in mid-semester like Goff did and bypass that last semester of high school and get an early jump on your college football career?
Well, I think it's huge if you're mature enough to handle it. And here's why I say that. Because not only are you coming in and you're having to go to school right away, and that's an advantage for you if you can get those units out of the way, but also having to assimilate into a football program. So if you're the least bit immature, you're going to struggle. But if you're ready, it is an absolute, it's a quantum leap forward in terms of your development moving down the road.
And you know what, in Goff's situation, he comes in at the same time that the new coaching staff takes over, so he doesn't miss out on the first 6 or 7 months of everything that's going on here when all of the foundation is being built.
That, and he has no relearning to do.
Right.
He is learning this from the jump, as opposed to having to say, this is what we used to call it, translate it to this. He doesn't have any of that going on for himself. And I'll tell you right now, he's made a couple of throws. He's made some throws really well right where he's put it on their guy, in stride, and that's that execution-based offense we talk about. So he's looked good so far.
You know, Sonny talked about managing the team. You played with Jim Kelly in Buffalo, Kerry Collins. You played with a lot of quarterbacks who were very successful managing a team. What are some of the things that, you know, we can watch? Whereas that one's batted down at the line, well played by the defense. Some of the things you can look for that how a quarterback manages a team well.
Well, first, it's his personality and charisma. He's got to be the leader out there for you, or at least not get in the way. And second, it's got to run the machinery. He's got to run the offense like a machine. And when I say it doesn't necessarily have to be machine-like, but it's the rhythm. Are we getting out of the huddle correctly? Is he calling formations properly? Does he know where he's supposed to be and who's supposed to be where? Those type of things, being the guy that sets everything, that's what you're looking for.
There's a lot to it.
There is a lot to being the leader, and that's why in the next level those guys make so much money.
No, your point's well made, but as you start thinking of all the different dynamics of the type of people that now you have to lead and manage, from a lineman to a running back to a receiver.
That's right, and you have to play personalities off each other. You have to understand that, and that's why the great ones are so well respected, and that's why so many guys fall by the wayside at that position.
The crowd cheering a little bit, 4th down and 10 from the 22, and you know everybody in the stands always loves it when you do something good on 4th down.
Well, you know that right there is
that's Marshawn Lynch. Yeah, who came in. They said he was going to be here, and I said, is he going to be in shorts and a shirt, or what's he going to do? And they said, you know what, we don't know exactly what he's going to do, but there you go. You give it to Marshawn Lynch in his Seahawks shoes. And that's a little blast from the past, and that's good stuff if you're a Cal Bear fan.
That's great stuff if you're a college football fan or player. Those guys getting to be on the field with him in pads, that just inspires those kids out there. This is great. What a great job by Marshawn Lynch to come and put himself in that position.
Well, good for him. And you know, it's so, you know, Glenn, you know, you've been on the other side of it when you go back to Tucson from, you know, playing in Super Bowls and doing that. It's just so exciting for the kids who are in college to see somebody who's doing what you dreamed of your whole life doing, and he's doing it now in the NFL and having a wonderful career.
It's exciting because there's potential, and you think, that's what I want. I want to be there. I want to do that. And he was in my shoes. He was on this field, and if I just work hard, I can get there. And then to see them come back and be a little self-effacing and put himself out there like this, that's fantastic, because that helps them identify with him as a person, not just as a football player.
D'Amato banged the field goal through, but what a thrill for the freshman Goff. Think, wait a minute, now I'm calling a play for Marshawn Lynch and get a handoff to him?
And I like the way they all just said, hey, let's respect the power and let him keep running.
You run wherever you'd like to, number 10.
It's great fun for everybody involved here.
And you know what, good for the coaches, because there's a lot of pressure in that position. I mean, we understand that, what they go through, what they're under, and obviously you're getting work done, but good for them for having some fun and welcoming back to being a big part of this Cal family.
Well, and you said, you know, that's something that, of course, that had to be approved. Well, Sonny Dykes understands that all these people in the stands up here, they're part of the family, and he's got to recruit them as much as recruit players at this point. That's a great job of reaching out to the fans in your spring game and showing them that you care about the past. It's not just about you moving forward as the new coach.
Huh? Is that a game ball?
Now we have an onside kick.
You know, this is a little bit like, you know, maybe you and I are 10-8, we're playing in your backyard. I'm trying to figure out these rules as we're going along. You're going to have to give me some. So the touchdown on Lynch didn't count, but D'Amato knocked the field goal through. So that gave him 3 more, so the offense now has 10. And Marshawn Lynch got the round of applause, and you saw the shot there, headed back to the locker room to change back into probably shorts and a T-shirt today, because it is a perfect day here in Berkeley.
Well, now, in the prior series, the offensive coaches were screaming at their team. They wanted faster substitutions, faster tempo. Let's see if they get that done.
Offense will come out throwing. Klein a little bit too tall. Lawler the intended target, freshman from Southern California in Pomona. The fun part of spring football is that everybody's undefeated again, and the excitement builds. And no matter what happened last season, you let all that slide, and now you think, what could this season be like? And what's Memorial Stadium going to be like when Northwestern comes here, when Ohio State comes in? I mean, this is going to be, you know, a really electric atmosphere.
Well, the fans here, they've got a great venue, as you said, and I'm excited to see when those Big Ten schools come, because it's such a traditional rivalry, the Pac-12 and the Big Ten, and see those teams come here, full stadiums, great atmosphere, and let's face it, last year's game, particularly between Ohio State and Cal, that was a great game that came down to the wire, and let's hope that next one is like it.
The Cal fans would like it to be just like that and just flip the score around.
There
just
you
go 7 more for the blue and gold. Try a little quarterback draw on 3rd down, and let's go down. See who's with Mike Yam.
All right, guys, it was obviously very exciting for a lot of the Cal fans. Marshawn Lynch, a guy who was a conference offensive player of the year a couple years back, a 3-time Pro Bowler now with the Seattle Seahawks. You're out there, you score a touchdown. Is that your idea to get back on the field?
It was a little mix, man. You know, my boy KP asked me if I'd do it, and I told him, no, I got his back, so.
What was it like for you to be back on the field?
Oh, man, it was I actually, you know, kind of felt pretty good out there knowing that this is home, so it felt pretty good, man.
Now, there obviously is a new era here with Sonny Dykes. Give me your impressions of what your expectation level is, because you're one of the marquee figures this program has ever had.
Oh, man, well, I hope Cal has been, you know, they were struggling a little bit, but, you know, I hope, you know, his regime come and, you know, they turn it back into what it was when I was here.
Now, speaking of the times when you were here, is there a memory when you get back on this field, something that reminds you of your playing days?
Of my playing days, looking at all the go-karts around here, but for the most part, just being out here, seeing the young guys, you know, building their relationships with their teammates and their new friends and everything is something that, you know, I missed, so.
Now, we got a chance to talk to Brendan Bigelow a couple minutes ago. I saw you kind of whisper something to him on the field. What did you say to the guy that's banged up right now?
Oh, the youngster, yeah. No, I just told him to get well, and maybe one day I'll be able to play like him.
Marshawn, I got to tell you, it's exciting, I think, for a lot of the fans here, and I know it's a boost for this team in a new era for Sonny Dykes here, so enjoy the rest of the game.
Go Bears.
Rich?
Go Bears. Thank you, Mike. Well done. Nice interview. And meet Marshawn Lynch. You know, when you can sport your helmet backward, things are good. Number 10. Boy, what a player he is. What a talent. And you see a lot of that regardless of the sport. You know, people at the professional level still always very closely follow what's going on at their university. Hodges goes into a pile. Glenn, did you see a lot of that during your playing days in the NFL? People following their alma maters and things that are going on?
Helmet. Yes, you got a helmet. Get your eyes out of the backfield.
Hinder, junior from Steamboat Springs, Colorado, and at the quarterback spot. Well, the Bear coaches said they were going to do equal reps, and they have been true to their word, giving everybody an opportunity. Seen some good things out of Goff. Klein has looked good at times. Hinder's made some plays. There's a little mesh point issue that Glenn referenced earlier. That'll take time. Broussard in, charging in. Linebackers and defensive linemen have had some nice plays for the Bears. And for Cal, you know, last year with the disappointing season, it was just when you end up at 3-9, it's you just have inconsistency on a variety of issues. And it's kind of what the Bears ran into, that at times they could be very good, at times they could be very bad. And the problem is that one would generally follow the other. And too many times they found themselves in a hole, and Sonny Dykes has talked at length about trying to just rebuild an attitude. Nice little screen out in open space. Grissom is going to get 6 more for the offense. That's what people would enjoy from a little Bear Raid offense. As Sonny said to Mike Yam earlier, we're going to figure out what our guys can do and what they do well and get the ball to them and let them do it. And this is for Grissom. And this is a nice, easy throw, and then Grissom slips out of the tackle. Good blocking, a nice little grab there on the outside, and Grissom with some good speed darts down the sideline. Offense will try to tack on another point. Beto gets the offense to 17-9. Well, you know, Glenn, what did Sonny say before, that this offense is about figuring out what people can do and getting the ball and letting them do it? That was a good example of that right there.
That's right. Get guys in space. And you know, prior to the game, I talked about concept. Okay, what it is you get a guy in space, you make one guy miss, now you've got an athlete running with a head of steam. And that's what you saw there. Was it perfectly designed? Was it well played? Yeah, both. It was designed well and it was played well, but you miss one tackle, and that's how you give up 7 quick.
That was a good interview by Mike Yam with Marshawn Lynch. Glenn, all your years in the NFL, did you find a lot of guys still followed, you know, where they went to college and how their universities were doing throughout the NFL season in the locker room?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. You know, one thing, you can't wait to the start of season, you get a box. And in that box is the media guide, a couple of hats, some T-shirts, because now, as the year goes along and your team plays another guy on the team's college team, you got a bet going. They got to wear your stuff if they lose. Oh, yeah. It was big. And then the rivalry games were gigantic.
Sure.
Dan Salamea down at Kansas City when I was with the Bills, we had a running argument going on every game about ASU and Arizona. It was constant.
Yeah, we like a little bit of that nastiness down in the desert between the Sun Devils and the Wildcats.
Oh yeah, all of it. All rivalry games are good. If it's yours, it's a great rivalry.
Yeah, it's what makes college football special. I mean, it's games like that, and whether you're, you know, the games, the big ones are so good and so intense when you look at the rivalries around the Pac-12 conference that even if you're not, quote, a fan of it, it still pulls you in. It's like, well, how do you not get excited for this?
Yeah, and I guess that's the nature of college football in itself. It's the imperfection and then the rivalry part of it puts it together and makes it a special thing for everybody to watch.
Goff's going to air one out, and it's going to be tipped and incomplete. Well played.
Well, trying to
low
stretch
back
that
there, yeah.
Trying to stretch vertically. Unfortunately, not enough. You didn't pull the safety far enough to the right side of your offense to get that ball down that skinny seam.
What would he need to do to pull the safety?
Well, you got to have a route over there, and it's got to be hidden well enough that he bites on whatever it is, whether that's a crossing route or a deep route out there. And if you do that, then you can pull him a little bit, and you can use your eyes. You know, quarterbacks need to use their eyes to manipulate safeties where they want them.
Who was the best quarterback you played with at using their eyes?
Well, as far as the guys that I played with, Jim Kelly. He
Okay.
was very good at understanding that his body posture, his eyes manipulated defenses to put them where he wanted, and he could come back on them.
Goff with the 2x2. Third down long. Goff is going to get swallowed up by the defense.
And Andy Boo's defense, we talked to him yesterday, and I asked him about pressure. He said, yeah, on pressure downs, we want to pressure. And that's a way of saying we need to win on defense to give ourselves a chance to pressure. One of the things you see in football is guys using pressure to stop run or using pressure to turn the tide. And that's not what Andy Boo wants to do. He wants to use it on pressure downs. That means he's winning defensively.
Fair catch made near the 45 following the punt. And Harper will flip the ball to the official. Jefferson had the big play on defense. You think of the entire spring, and then you go through the off season, and then you do camp. You have to be really excited to run into somebody other than your teammate by the time you get to the start of the regular season. Klein, another freshman, going to come in and play quarterback. Coppridge will be in the backfield. Klein from just over the hill in Danville, San Ramon Valley High School. It'll be interesting to watch this one play out. Klein, a freshman, Goff, a freshman. Hinder, the elder statesman, is a junior. And the good news is, if you want to keep track, they're numbers 7, 8, 9. Hinder, Klein, and Goff. Fans being treated to some of the new look, and we've had a few big plays, and here's another one today. Coppridge, who's gotten a lot of carries, shows a good burst. Cal's going to have a lot of new names in the backfield this year, and this is part of the fun of figuring out who's going to burst onto the scene and make everybody take notice. That is smooth and some nice moves. King finally got him to the turf. Got Coppridge from Stevenson Ranch, so Cal continuing to recruit well. Offense has traditional scoring today in this game. Defense getting points for turnovers, missed field goals, for sacks, fourth down stop, 3 and out, tackle for a loss, so a variety of ways to get points on the defense. Each side has made some plays. Klein on the plus side of the field has a first down on the big run. Right again, and this time talked about send a little bit of that pressure in there. Dave Wilkerson, junior from nearby Danville, shoots in and makes the tackle. Sonny Dykes, second head coaching job on the WAC title down at Louisiana Tech. Well traveled, as so many coaches are, and coming into a really good situation. He's been very classy and giving credit to Jeff Tedford. He said, look, Jeff took over a different job. The place was essentially in really bad shape, and he built it into something that made it a very attractive job for anybody. And he's been nothing but classy and complimenting the coaches who came before him. And coaches understand better than anybody all the different factors that come into things that make you successful and things that, you know, tend to let it slip the other way, and it's tough. It's tough to keep it on the upswing. You know, Jeff Tedford takes over a program that won one game and gets enough victories and excitement around here to get first-rate facilities, and Sonny can now take that over, and what everybody at the Old Blues won is a trip to the Rose Bowl Haven't been there since '59. Anderson, the intended target. Another good play defensively by Jefferson. He's been a steady player for these Cal Bears. Sonny going up and going to give some instructions. 4th down and 6. Sonny says, as much as I'd love everybody to cheer and good things to happen, we don't go from 4th down and 6 at that point. We'll turn this around and go the other way. Glenn, where are you down there? I'm looking for you.
Well, you know, I've been all around.
I know you have. I don't see you.
I'm getting some stories. I'll tell you, the look on Sonny Dykes' face when Zach Klein took that hit was not good. Quarterbacks have to slide. I know we like their feet. You got to let them run, but the grimace on Sonny Dykes' face when he took that hit told me, you know what, let's be smart here. Let's discretion being the better part of valor. Slide, please. We'll take the 3 rather than the 5.
Right.
And keep you healthy.
Right, and that's the part that you get back to managing a team, earning respect, doing things. But from a coach's end, you're thinking, you know what? That's not helping. You only have so many of those blows in you that we don't need those 2 yards. Get down.
That's right. And you know, it's the same thing. You want your quarterback, throw the ball away. Don't take the sack. Don't give an interception. Throw the ball away. It's the same when it comes to running with it. Get down and be smart. We need you the next play. We don't need you hurt.
And how many times throughout the season do you see people, in positions that are a little inexperienced, whether it's a back trying to get the extra yard who gets hit and fumbles, it's a quarterback trying to make the great play when nothing was there and it gets tipped and intercepted, and you think, the people who have great success are the ones who just live to go to the next play, and even if that means we have to shelve the series, let's just not turn it over and give the other team a short field and a score.
That's right. My very first football coach way back in junior college said, our number one job is to get the snap to the quarterback. And after that, it's to get back to the line of scrimmage. It's little goals like that lead to big things. And too often we lose sight of that as players, and we try to make the big play, and something bad happens to us.
Hinder comes back over the middle, incomplete.
And speaking to that, Rich, so often, and we've heard this from Sonny Dykes in meetings yesterday, we just want to take what the defense gives us. That means not pushing the ball into small pockets. It means not looking for the big score all the time. It means taking 4 yards. It means taking that 8-yard drag route across the middle rather than going for the post every time, because that'll open up more down the field. And that's what he means by that. Take what they give you.
Do you think that the difficult part is that, all the kids out here that are playing for Cal were stars and superstars at the high school level that could basically do what they want most times when they want it, and you've got to break some of those habits to go for the smaller pieces and not go for the home run, which you used to get all the time because you were the most talented person on the field?
Well, I think there's probably something to that. Of course, you want the kid that comes to this level as a superstar too.
Mm-hmm.
That's the guy you're trying to recruit.
Absolutely.
But if he's not that guy, he has to learn pretty soon that the way to win is to take small steps and climb the mountain that way, not just fly to the top of the mountain.
What's your impression down there of, the quarterbacks are getting equal reps as we roll through. You have initial thoughts as, we've getting near a quarter of action here? Goff going to get, flag's going to come down. Goff's going to get maybe 1 on that. Any initial thoughts, Glenn, on the 3?
Well, I think what we're seeing is I think they can play well. They can execute the offense. We're seeing each quarterback make some throws. Each guy's doing something with his legs. But we're also seeing the fact that they're in there with a very different offensive line every time. And because those guys are switching in and out, there's not a lot of continuity, and that's creating the sacks that we're seeing, the mesh problems that we're seeing. So a lot of this is simply because everybody's on the field differently than they might be in a true game situation.
How long do you have to play with other players on the line so that you're in sync and knowing what everybody else is going to do? How long would that take you?
That's really dependent on the individual player.
Okay.
It really is. I teamed up with Lomas Brown the very first practice, and it's like we were in each other's head from the very beginning. But I've been with guys that won't talk and I don't understand what they want. So it can go both ways.
Hey guys, you know, it's funny, you were talking about the quarterbacks, and Glenn, I know yesterday when we were speaking to Tony Franklin, their offensive coordinator, I asked him to go through some of the pros of each one of these guys that's competing for this job, and you saw it on full display because with Austin Hinder, he said he's by far the best runner of the three, and a couple times he's taken off, avoided some rushers, and picked up some yards. Zach Klein, I thought it was probably the funniest analogy I've ever heard with regard to describing a quarterback's arm. He said this is a guy who's got such a cannon for an arm that he could throw the ball through a car wash and the ball won't get wet. And then Jared Goff, we've seen that maturity. And Glenn, that's something you talked about. For a guy to come in as a true freshman, potentially earn this job, there's going to be some growing pains. But at the same time, Franklin thought his maturity level was something that could carry him.
Yeah, and if I recall, remember he said Goff came in, he's got the arm strength, but he just doesn't get rattled. He just walked out like he was a mature player from the get-go. And you're right, we're seeing that.
Final 10 seconds of the quarter. Goff goes over the middle. Going to be another big play. Flag down in the backfield, but Goff throws another dart. Coppridge out of the backfield with the catch and explosion. We've seen some backs down there make some moves. And, Sonny talked about it at the open when he talked to Mike. They've got some players who can do some things in space. They're showing it today.
Execution-based offense. Okay, there's a flag down. That's a bummer. But what's great here? Great is that quarterback just delivered that ball right in stride to his wide receiver in space, and there's 15 yards that they get because he executed properly. He knew his assignment, he knew the alignment, and he did it with some attitude. And I'll tell you what, that's good-looking football right there out of your quarterback.
Following the flag, they'll back it up. And instead of the big gain and a first down, they've got a 3rd and 17 when they start the clock. That will get us to triple zeros in the end of this first quarter of this Cal spring game. All the youngsters out on display and the youngsters in the stands. Even those with, was that a boo-boo on your chin? 17-15 at the end of one. Back in Berkeley, Rich Cellini, Glenn Parker, Mike Yam. Cal spring game offense scores with traditional 6-1. Touchdown and the point after. Defense getting points for 4 points for a turnover, 3 for the missed field goal, 2 for a sack or 4th down stop, 2 for a 3 and out, and 1 point for a tackle for a loss. And if you score that right now, 17-15. Youngsters on display in the backfield, receiving core. And Glenn has talked about the linemen. Goff quarterback spot going for a home run ball. And there'll be a penalty flag, incomplete. But interference down there. Dozer had the coverage, and he'll get the flag. Whitehurst was out there in space. Good opportunities, defensive backs too. Glenn had talked at length about, you put on the uniforms, you do some different things, it gives it a different feel. And, everybody has to learn a different way, and making that play in practice where the coach says that was pass interference and making it in a situation where people in blue and gold are in the stands and an official makes the announcement, it's a little different effect. Bears go on the ground. Hodges again, freshman from Santa Cruz. Fideli with the tackle. Well, if you haven't had the chance to come out and see all that's new at Memorial Stadium, you need to figure a way to get out here when Northwestern comes to town, or Oregon State, Ohio State, or when the conference season gets rolling, because the Strawberry Canyon's always been great in the fall. Goff showing a little bit of his outstanding athletic ability right there, picking up the misfired snap and scurrying. But beautiful spring day today, but during the fall out here, just as good as it gets in college football. First down following the Scamper, plus 43. High snap. Goff flips one out, and that'll make everybody smile. Everybody loves a quarterback who can create and gets the ball to Coppridge, who bounces back up after taking a big hit. But there's Goff just figuring out a way to get the ball to one of his playmakers. And Glenn talks about that a lot. It doesn't always have to be pretty. I have to trust that you're going to do things that are wise and smart and that I can win with you. And there's more of the pretty pass from Goff, putting a good spin on that one. Spethia with the catch. He got a touchdown earlier, so that's a pretty good combination going right there. 9-19. And the tempo quickens a little bit. Goff carrying out the fake after the handoff.
Handoff to number 30,
Jefferson, another tackle, Coppridge.
First down.
And with all the moving parts, I still think the offense has done a pretty nice job of just keeping things going forward and not collecting many flags themselves. And as is the rage in college football, Goff able to look to the sideline, get the play, one set of signals live, the other the dummy signals. Good run down the seam.
Handoff to number 31, John Hodges.
Down near the 5.
First down.
Number 24, one play.
Offense trying to add to their 2-point lead, 17-15 over the defense. Hodges behind Goff. And he'll throw one back shoulder. Boy, is that pretty.
That's complete.
Oh, is that nice. Whiters with the snare.
81, Drake Whiters.
Well, nice catch right there, and the snaps have been all over the place, and that's okay. But, you know, we saw Goff make a play where he was falling down, flipping it, Coppridge for positive yardage. Then we saw him throw a nice out, and that one right there to the back shoulder, and that's such a popular play. It's so effective in college football that
One after good by number 9.
you heard a lot about Jared Goff coming in and his talent level. Glenn is down there hanging out with Sonny Dykes. Let's take a listen.
I'm with Sonny Dykes down here. Now, Sonny, what do you think so far? Execution, both sides of the field.
Well, it didn't start very good. You know, fumble the first play. We've done a pretty good job up to this point taking care of the football this spring. That was a little disappointing, but it seems like everybody's settled down. Quarterbacks are completing some passes. We've gotten a little too much push probably on the pass rush, but it's been good to see our guys rush the passer, but we got to protect a little bit better. But guys are making plays.
Yeah, and now as far as those quarterbacks are concerned, some guys delivering the ball on time like you spoke about yesterday. So far, what do you like about it?
Well, I've done a pretty good job of avoiding the rush at times, moving around in the pocket, making some plays outside the pocket, which is important, and done a pretty good job of getting the ball to open guys. So, you know, we've had some receivers make some plays, so we just got to continue to get it to them and let them do their thing.
Now, how about Marshawn Lynch? You let him come in. That's great for the fans. When did that all come about?
Well, it's just one of those things that kind of took shape, and we were excited about it. And, you know, Marshawn wants to be part of the program, and we're lucky to have an alum like him that's so good and you know, that wants to come do things for us.
Now, one of the things about spring ball, you got a lot of guys injured, so it's got to be frustrating, but even so, you got to try to keep them healthy out here. How do you go about managing that part of the game?
Yeah, we're down a little. We've had 2 linebackers that have had a couple of injuries, nothing serious, thankfully, but you know, the big thing we want to do is get work done today, but get out of here healthy. And so we're down to about 3 linebackers, so we're going to have to adjust some things, but that's part of football. That's kind of what we do on every Saturday.
Well, part of looking for that team is you also got to do special teams in somewhat. You're trying to find a kicker out here. You're trying to find a quarterback out here. How much can you really get done overall in one spring game, though?
Well, you know, the thing about the spring game is you just see how guys react to these situations. I don't know how much you really get done. It's more for the players and for the fans, but it is good to see guys compete live and under a little bit of pressure.
And how about the fact that as a new coach, you got to get guys to buy in? Are they buying in?
Yeah, they've been great. They've done everything we've asked them to do and have really done a good job of buying in and working hard. So it's been a good group to coach.
Great. Thank you so much. Back to you, Rich.
Very nice. Well done, Glenn Parker. Thanks to Sonny Dykes. Boy, he's impressive. He is put together some very entertaining football down there at Louisiana Tech, and also during his time as the coordinator at the University of Arizona. I get to be the head coach, Cal Bears, in the Pac-12. Klein in at the quarterback spot. And a handoff. Koprich can't quite turn the corner. Michael Lowe. Good work, Glenn Parker. Very nice.
Well, you know, the thing is, I think Sonny Dykes is a guy that gets it. He understands, you know, just the whole machinations and what goes on with your team out here, and you get a sense that he's got a firm grasp with this team already.
Line pass complete. 6 yards on the play.
Booza with the catch. From all the things, you know, you see from Sonny Dykes, I just get the impression that it's a guy who knows exactly what he wants to do and what he wants the identity to be like of the team.
Yeah, you know, when he was at Arizona, I got to know him a bit, and then he had spoken to me in the past about how to move, where he kind of wanted to move forward as an offense. But that's who he is, very deliberate. And when he went to Louisiana Tech, that's what he implemented. And they won, and they were successful. They put up a lot of points and a lot of yards. And you know that when he was coming here, he knew exactly who he wanted his coaches to be, how he wanted to put everything in. And you sense that there was no hesitation, that he didn't have a lot of questions, that he had a path laid out for himself.
You know, don't you think also it's nice, well played by the defense, able to come in there and knock that one down.
Pass knocked down. Knocked down by 43, Dan
Campo-Real with the bat down, but that, you know, he comes in knowing what the conference is about from his time, and so he's not going to come in and try to figure out, you know, this is the style, this is the type of personnel, these are the different things. He has a good feel. He'd already done the, you know, 2 or 3 year stint.
Well, you're right. And first off, the one thing he said is, you know, he's been in a lot of different conferences, and what he remembered most from being in the Pac-12 and now watching film again is that every team can beat you. Top to bottom is much more talent than any conference, he said. He said that there are no gimme wins. There's no train wreck teams out there. Everybody's got talent, everybody's well coached, and they can all beat you. So he knows what lies before him. And the other side, you start talking to defensive coordinators, and Andy Booth said, hey, the thing is you gotta be ready for the spread, the zone read, the wide open passing attack of Washington, the pro sets at Oregon State, USC. There's so many different things, and it's very hard defensively to be a coordinator in this league.
Yeah, every week you have to go and kind of wipe the slate clean and then teach your defense how to do something new again because of all the variety in the league.
Yeah, when you look at other leagues, you could say they all run the spread. They all run two-back power. Maybe they all run pro. That is not true of the Pac-12. The Pac-12 has a myriad of different offensive styles that are going to come at you every week. And so defensively, you have to be very true to who you are. You have to understand exactly what your defense is and isn't, and then coach from there. You can't try to change your spots week to week.
Klein going to get the signal from the sideline. Pressure, and Klein gets taken down to the turf. Jefferson shoots the gap. 2 more points for the defense.
Well, offensively, what you have is a very base offense in at this point. So you're not game planning. So the defense bringing different blitzes that are already part of their package, you might not have something to answer it with. So it's gonna these games generally favor defense unless you put in some stops to help the offense along the way, because your offense only has so much put in at this time. I tell you, I'd get tired as a player standing up, getting to my stance, standing up, getting my stance. I'm better off just bending over, breathing.
No, you were in better shape than that. Don't try to fool us. We have archived footage of you sprinting down the field, recovering fumbles, getting pats on the back from Marv Levy, who, by the way, has some pretty good Cal ties as well.
Yes, he does, but boy, I'd like to see that film. I don't remember any of that.
You're too much.
Out to punt for California, number 16.
Bastion with the stop.
Got more? They out of your personal stash?
No. They said that they didn't have any, but the guy didn't know where they were at. That's freaking half already. Oh my God.
The officials will let him, well, they're going to spin it back a little bit. We'll check the spot when we come back. 24-15 in the Cal Spring game.
Mike Yam down on the field here at Memorial Stadium, and guys, it really has been an exciting day for a lot of the fans to take a closer look at some of the stars that they are expecting to have some big-time performances throughout the course of the season. And one of those guys is Jeffrey Coppridge. We've seen him come out of the backfield, make some nice plays, whether it's catching the ball or just evading tacklers, but this is a guy that I think Cal fans are really going to rally beyond. This is a tremendous story that he has, really a tough upbringing, grew up in a gang-infested neighborhood, was able to move out, and just he's dedicated his season to his grandmother, who's been battling cancer for the past years. Never seen him play in person. Hopefully he's going to be able to watch him today on the Pac-12 networks. And his sister actually also died tragically in a car accident. Coppridge was just 3 years old at the time, and in the car that turned over multiple times. His sister was just 7 years old, and in her honor, he's actually starting a book drive. So one of those great stories. We love bringing those great stories from the players around the Pac-12 conference, and Coppridge certainly has one of the great ones.
Very nice, Mike. Well done. Jordan Morgan with a late hit on Hinder.
15-yard.
And those are the type of things that don't make coaches happy at any part of the season, especially on one of your own quarterbacks too. And nobody likes aggressive play, but young Jordan Morgan, just a freshman, will have to learn on this one. Once this hit comes, there's about 4 flags that come quickly out of the pocket.
Coaches love Hinder's legs. Look at this run.
Yes.
Just a great job. Now, you got to coach up your defense. Say, hey, we can't do that. But look at your run. Coaches are pretty happy when they start seeing film going, we might be able to put in some more plays that feature some of that stuff.
And, that's a good point, Glenn and Mike, that if you have somebody, and I'll go back to Sonny's quote, that figuring out who our players are and what they can do, it wouldn't be the first team in college football that we'd seen have a quarterback come in and execute some running plays.
No, honestly, okay, again, going back to that spread concept,
sure.
Well, you have option concept within that, and that is where we get the zone read offense, Oregon style and Rich Rod style. Well, you got a quarterback that can run. That puts a lot of pressure on your defense now, and that's a huge asset.
Pass complete.
Little jump ball, and Maurice Harris comes up with it. Nice play.
Maurice Harris.
Fideli back there thinking that he's got a play on the ball, and Harris just plays it like a wide receiver should, adjusts his body, goes up, makes the catch.
Rick Neuheisel would say that he contorted his body. That's what he likes to use.
Well, they're going to say whether he contorted or not, he apparently shoved off before he contorted.
Which distorted the truth.
Stop it. Gong. Let's see, did he?
We'll take a look.
Did he or didn't he? What do you think, Glenn?
I just think that was a great job of going up for the ball. I didn't see it. If it happened prior to him coming into frame.
And the final seconds of this first half of the spring game here at Cal. We're going to stop it now at 3. It was moving.
At the end of the second quarter.
Nope. 3, 2, 1. And our referee tells us we've reached halftime. End of the second quarter of play here at Memorial Stadium.
Security and transportation services to the Cal community for over 15 years. Cal football season tickets are on sale.
Offense leading the defense, 24-17 at the half. More from Berkeley after this timeout.
The rebuild of this place is really remarkable. I mean, they've done an incredible job of keeping a stadium that looks historical. It looks like it's an old stadium, but it has all the amenities of a modern stadium. And so they did a tremendous job in the design and the build. of this stadium, because it really is a unique football stadium, because it does, you walk in here, you feel like you're in a 100-year-old stadium, but at the same time you have all the amenities and everything that modern stadiums have. So they did a great job designing this place.
You have to have players to win, and you have to be able to recruit players with some facilities. And Glenn, he inherited a beautiful house here at Cal.
Oh, he really did. And, you know, the thing about Cal, they have always been able to recruit to the academic prestige of the university. They've always had the history of Cal, and they've had the beautiful Bay Area. But now they can go out and on a national scale, which they've always recruited nationally, but now they can go on a national scale, and a kid who maybe would turn them down and go somewhere else because the facilities were better now says, you know, that Cal is a place I got to go. In the arms race of college football, their facilities are now top-notch. They now have something that I can go out, whether it's on the East Coast or down south or the Midwest, I can tell a kid and sell his parents not only on the prestige of their education and the value of his degree, but I can say, look at the first-class treatment he's going to get as an athlete at our university. And by the way, it's one of the most beautiful places on the planet. So this allows them to expand the scope of their recruiting and how they go about it. It's a big weapon in their arsenal, and it's going to, I no doubt, will definitely provide dividends down the road.
Simpson Center opened in January 2012, 142,000 square feet. It is stunning. We'll come back with the start of the second half of the Cal spring game here at Memorial Stadium. (24-17) as we get ready to start the third quarter. Well, we broke down the offense on the grease board at the start of this scrimmage. Glenn, how about the defense?
Thanks, Rich. You know, hey, Cal fans, you've got a new coordinator, Andy Boo. What's he like to do? He wants the 4-3. 4 defensive linemen, 3 backers. And he likes playing quarters in coverage. And that allows 1, 2, 3, 4 guys across the back. Now, what do they do differently, though? You can't just line up and play straight 4-3. So you got a hybrid guy right here. He's a backer or an end. He can slide into coverage or he can attack the perimeter. Now, you've got that, but you also might have what you call a backer safety. He can be in coverage here or slide into the safety spots. So it allows you a little more flexibility. But the real flexibility comes right back here in quarters. Each safety is his own quarterback. He can decide what they want to call on either side. So you might have man and zone or zone and man or both. It allows flexibility in the defense, and it gives you a lot more options. This is a nice new defense, some wrinkles coming in. Look for Cal and what they've got going. It should be fun down the road.
Thank you, Glenn. There's Andy Boo. First year with Sonny Dykes, and a lot of learning going on, and defensive numbers from a year ago for Cal. You're looking at 9s, 11, and 7 in a 12-team conference, and he knows that, you know, that all the other numbers mean something. The one that means everything is that last one, giving up 33 points a game. He knows that has to be cut down. Players coming back out on the field. Spring game here in Berkeley. Been a perfect afternoon. Plenty of fans on hand to enjoy the first look of the Bear Raid offense under Sonny Dykes.
Did you put that thing in backwards?
Coaches are allowed to do whatever they'd like in their
now,
spring game, and Sonny Dykes has decided that we're going to skip the third quarter and go straight to the fourth. And coach, when you're in charge of things, that's just fine. So we go
wait, hold on.
3-4 on the scoreboard, and we'll play 15
Here it is,
minutes
I got it.
Football and get some people some opportunities to make some plays. And Goff misfires on the first one. He and Treg's not on the same page.
Well, I'll go back to, again, what Sonny Dykes told us in meetings, what he said on the field out there. This is an execution-based offense. It's not we're going to go out and we're going to trick you with all this. You got to make the simple throws. You got to put them on time where they're supposed to be. Guys got to align correctly, and that's when you see a new offense with new players in it. They struggle occasionally.
And some of the kids Off going up top, fall incomplete, have commented about how much smaller the playbook has gotten under the new coaching staff. And so to your point that it's not about having, 101 things to do, it's about doing the things we do well.
And that's across the board in life, isn't it?
Sure.
If you take a few things, do them well, you can do anything with it. And an old football coach of mine called them the Holy Eight. You had 8 plays. Let's get 8 plays great, and we can win a lot of ball games.
Goff completes pass. Treggs, the two of them get on the same page. Jefferson with another tackle. He's been very busy defensively. Had 4 tackles and a couple sacks in the first half. So that's going to be a quick offensive set. Let's visit with Mike Yam.
Oh, Rich, Glenn so eloquently described the quarters defense in that 4-3 base scheme that Andy Boo, the new defensive coordinator, is going to be installing with this new Cal Bears team. We got a chance to talk to him yesterday. I thought one of the funnier moments was he said, I love our guys. I was pleasantly surprised. And I said to him, I said, Coach, if you're saying pleasantly surprised, I would think the expectations level was pretty low. And he said, well, whenever there's a coaching change, there's usually a reason for it. But he said that he felt that the talent level is to the upper to the middle or middle to the upper portion of the conference. He said it's got the talent to win right now. And Glenn, based off of that scheme, that 4-3, it's going to give him some flexibility in terms of trying to see and feel out a lot of the different offenses that this conference brings to the table.
Mike, and when you look back at the end of last year, Clancy Pendergrass went to a 4-2-5 to get more speed on the field. So it's not foreign to these guys. They understand most of the concepts. It's just now how Andy wants to implement it and the wrinkles he puts in. So he's got a good nucleus to start with. They've got some background in it. It should be interesting to see how it plays out going forward.
Mike, historically, Cal has always done very favorable when you come to ranking a recruiting class. And I know that you should rank them at the end, not when they first come in, but the number of good players they've been able to get in here through the years, they have some of them stacked up who are very talented on both sides of the ball.
Yeah, I think that's abundantly clear. And just talking to Sonny Dykes, he had mentioned that the change in culture was going to be necessary. I know Glenn touched on this at the start of the game when he said that the recruiting at Louisiana Tech, they had to go rural because of the facilities that were there.
Sure.
Coach Dykes even had mentioned, he said some of the guys coming out of high school had better facilities at their high school than they did at Louisiana Tech, so it became an issue. But Cal, and you guys just went through Memorial Stadium, what a beautiful facility. You invest over $300 million in upgrades. I mean, this is one of the better facilities now in the Pac-12, and now Coach Dykes has the ability to not only recruit to the facilities, but then that academic reputation. Cal is one of the best schools in the country, and coming off a 3-9 season, they can only go up. But just talking to Rick Neuheisel and Yogi Roth on our recruiting day special, getting an idea of the recruits that this Cal program brought in, I think everyone was pretty excited about the talent that's now going to be on the roster here at Cal.
Yeah, Mike, Cal consistently ranked the #1 public institution in the U.S., really one of the great universities in the world. And you've got that part of it. You have the prestige, like Glenn talked about, of the Cal degree and a variety of the majors, and then you have everything that you could ask for on the athletic side. From a coach's end, and what you're always doing is selling. You've got everything you need to try to close the sale and get that person to be somebody who wears blue.
Yeah, that was something that Coach Dykes had mentioned even yesterday, that just knowing that there is such a commitment right now with this program. We're going to talk about the money that was poured into it, the facilities, and I think the biggest priority, and you guys know this from just being around all the different other programs, just getting guys to buy in. And even Tony Franklin, the offensive coordinator, said this has been the easiest transition. A lot of times when there's a coaching change, guys resist, but knowing that they had an offense that was putting up over 50 points per game compared to what Cal was doing at basically 23 a night, the offensive guys, they're buying in, and they all have smiles on their face because they know they're going to be able to score a ton of points this year.
Sebastian just put a lick on Treggs, and that one's gonna go for a while. And Treggs is saying, you know what? Everybody can ooh and ah, and there's a good replay. But yeah, go ahead. I'm still here. Hey, I'm coming out again. Go ahead, Glenn.
There's 2 great things there. You get a completion and big yardage. Hey, that's great. That's what. But you got a great defensive hit too. There's no negative to that play. It's spring ball. Guys are playing hard. It's great.
Well, the spring game that started in bright sunshine, now we got a few shadows across the field. And that gives you the feel of fall, as you know, when those games get late and some of the start times. I mean, once you get the shadows going out, that always has a really good college football feel to it.
Well, I'm over here in the shade, and I'm getting a little chilly, to tell you the truth. I want to switch places with Mike.
Wait a minute. You complained earlier that it was too hot. Now you're too cold?
You can't prove that.
We can.
Second down. You've always got an answer.
We can swap sides if you like, because the sun, I think my tan for the day is feeling pretty good.
Copperidge, who Mike did a really good story on, tackled again by Jefferson. Copperidge is showing a lot to me today.
Well, he's making the plays, and all you want from your guys here is are you doing what the coaches ask you to do? And if you do that, you're in good shape. The hard part comes when you try to do too much or you don't know the playbook, and that we get back to that trust issue with coaches.
Are you cold?
Go chilly. I don't have hair to keep me warm. Mike and Rich both have wonderful heads of hair. I don't know if you noticed this. So me, not so much. I lose a lot of heat out of this head.
My tan is feeling pretty good right now, Rich. I don't know about how you're feeling up in the booth, but the sun, I've been in the studio under those lights. I needed to get out, so I'm feeling pretty good on the sidelines.
Okay, I'm feeling good about Copperidge coming out of the backfield catching the ball. That's where I was going with all this. I think Copperidge not only running it with some moves, but coming out of the backfield, he's made some nice catches. That's a great weapon to have. Now we're going to get another turn. Jared Goff. Clock continuing to move here in what Sonny Dykes. It's our third quarter of the day, but Sonny said third quarters are out. We're going right into the fourth quarter, so we'll have a moment. We can step aside and come back with more. Fourth quarter of the spring game. Offense holding on to a 2-point lead. 24-22, fourth quarter. Clock at 7:31. Offense with the lead over the defense in the spring game here at Cal. Cal Bears getting the spring schedule going first. Sonny Dykes wanted to get to work and see what he had to work with. And he's got a very talented freshman, Goff, who tries to throw the deep ball down the sideline.
Well, Rich, you know, the thing about going so early for Sonny Dykes is putting in a new offense, a new defense, a whole coaching staff. If you go early like this and you get done, now the kids go on spring break, but they have that much longer from now until the start of season to digest what they've learned, start implementing it, and getting ready for the season. It's a step up in terms of homework and how much they can get done.
Harris with the catch. He's made some nice plays today for Cal. Penalty marker down.
Illegal formation. 72 offense. Not lined up on the line of scrimmage. 5-yard penalty. Second down.
Illegal formation. These are some of the things that we had touched on. That this just happens. You know, Glenn talked about the different number of players getting in and out of that line situation, and players coming in. And you know, we've also seen guys today, Glenn, who are doing some different things and playing some different positions. And, you know, spring's a time for coaches to take a look. You see players switch sides of the ball, players get into different spots. This is your time to try to figure out, do we have our guys in the right spots? Too far out in front of Harris. Harris just a sophomore. Another flag down. Been fairly clean up until this point. Now we get back-to-back hankies on the ground.
Illegal formation. Offense. For the format of the backfield. Penalties decline. Third down.
We'll decline it and get it to third down. Jared Goff, 6'4", 185. Graduated Marin Catholic early. Came over and enrolled at Cal. And jumped right in feet first. And he had been a Cal commitment, so he didn't waver at all with the coaching change. And Sonny Dykes coming in. This is where he wanted to go to school. Program he wanted to be a part of. Just over the Richmond-San Rafael Bridge and up the hill to Cal. And he is fitting in nicely. Sonny Dykes, Glenn had talked about this too. You got to figure out who can run the team. You got to have somebody who can run an offense, but who can also run the team. Bartolo, tackled by Kafusi.
Short gain on the play. Fourth down. Less than 5 minutes to go. It's offense 24.
Well, Mike, you've been over there all day in the sun. We've certainly seen a lot of good players on this Cal side. I think if you're a Cal fan, and whether you came out here today or just watched this one on TV, that you have a lot to be excited about.
I completely agree with you, and I think there's genuine excitement whenever there's a coaching change because you're looking for that new era of a different brand of football, and I think there's going to be a huge contrast just to talking to Coach Dykes yesterday about some of the things that he's going to be implementing, and I think one of the things that we had talked about, and Glenn specifically had talked about, was just the fact that this team is not just going to be passing. There will be some running as well. Louisiana Tech put up 227 yards on the ground per game. So it's not just the air or the bear raid, if you will.
Yeah, no, and that's a good point. Glenn talked about the variety of differences that you can do run-wise and otherwise, but I think what gets you excited is just so many of the home run hitters they have, you know, on both sides of the ball. All right, another incompletion off the hand of Klein, and let's check in with Clint Parker.
Thanks, Rich. I'm here with Nick Forbes, Jr., linebacker. Nick, you know, big changes here, obviously, not just the facilities, but a new coach. So far, what's your impression of Sonny Dykes?
It's been a great impression. He's a really genuine guy. I really like his energy, and he's really easy to talk to, approachable. So it's nice to have a leader that is you can access.
And when you talk about his style, how has he been as far as just on a personal level with you, but also in terms of being a leader in the locker room?
Well, there's no getting around things, and he's straightforward. He's relaxed about how he approaches us with his demands, but you know, he has a word, and he's going to stick to it.
Very deliberate. And on the defense now, Andy Boo coming in, 4-3, stepping up with a little bit of hybrid stuff going on. What's your first impression this spring of Andy Boo and his system?
Oh, it's a great system. It's very technical. There's a lot of intricacies that you have to work through, but it's been a slow process learning, but he's a great teacher, and that's one of the things that, you know, I think a lot of guys will benefit from is we're learning the fundamentals of football. So we'll be a lot better, fundamentally sound next year.
Well, I know Cal fans are looking forward to having you back on the field. Thank you very much, and Rich, back to you.
Thanks, Glenn. Patrick Worstel with the big catch, and we're at a 24-24 tie, offense and the defense. Just a couple minutes to go on the clock. And they'll take it to the end zone and almost got the acrobatic catch. Lawler almost reeled it in. Pretty ball from Klein. Got his hand on it, and he thought right there, and I think I did too, that he was going to be able to grab that one as he was falling down. Clock still moving, 1:42. Third down, 7. Hit as they throw. And Klein takes a pop. And Whitehurst able to make another catch. And now we've got things and people taking swings. That's just, you know, the coaches they're going to be happy with a lot of things today, Glenn, but that's not going to be one of them.
Well, what that is spring. Here's the thing with spring ball, Rich. Okay, for guys who are looking to get a position, they love spring ball. Guys way down the depth chart. You know who hates it? The guy who has a job already. He's like, man, I got to grind. There's no upside to this for me. All I can do is learn this new offense and hope that I keep what I've already got. And so the tensions arise, particularly when you know there's some guy over there, maybe an underclassman, trying to impress the new coaching staff, going hard, taking a late hit or whatever. That starts happening about this time in spring ball. It'll all be forgotten in about 5 minutes, trust me.
Now they fumbled the snap on the field goal. They're going to let this one count. Well, it won't matter because it sailed right. So Calder, a little miscommunication on the snap, and Calder ends up pushing it right. We'll be back to Memorial Stadium after this timeout. The botched snap and pushed field goal by Calder gives 3 points to the defense. And Sonny Dykes addressing his team right now. Defense beats the offense.
All right, let's get in here, break it down. Let's go.
24, first-year head coach has to have a lot of things to smile about on this one, and we'll come back to wrap this up from Memorial Stadium. Cal's spring game is in the books. Defense comes out on top by 3.
Well, standing by with the new head coach of the Cal Bears, Sonny Dykes. The first spring game is in the books, so what was your assessment?
Well, it was good. It was good. You know, it was kind of ugly toward the end, but we ran out of linebackers, finished the game with 3 healthy linebackers. So, you know, things worked out the way they needed to. We got some work done. We had a little bit of injury concerns coming in, and thought our guys competed hard. Obviously, have a long way to go. I mean, we've got a lot of things we got to do, a lot of ways we got to get better. But I like our attitude. I like our work ethic and what we did all spring.
There's always going to be conversation about that quarterback spot, 3-way battle. What did you see from those guys?
Well, you know, it was good to see him live. You know, we hadn't seen him live all spring. Let the guys hit him a little bit just to see who could handle it, who would sit in the pocket and do some things. And that's unusual for us. We don't usually go live, but you know, I thought they competed well. You know, we'll go back and try to get a good assessment on what they did, strengths and weaknesses. But I thought they executed the offense pretty well, took care of the ball pretty well, and so I think we got better today.
Is there one guy that, at least based off of what you saw today, might be separating himself just a touch from the pack?
You know, not really. I think Jared Goff had kind of had really had some good practices, and it was good to see you know, Zach Klein make some plays today, and Austin Hinter, you know, brings something to us running the football as well. So, you know, all 3 of them have strengths and weaknesses, and so it was good to see him operate today.
All right, before I let you get out of here, next few weeks for you personally, what's it going to be like?
Well, we got a lot of things we got to assess. I mean, we'll take this week off. We start spring break today, and guys will get away, try to see their families a little bit, and then we'll come back, assess our spring football. We really got to do a great job working hard in the weight room and conditioning our football team and getting ready for the fall. Good thing is